Hey guys, my name is Vladimir, and this is an introduction video for Enter Social Reality. Okay, well, let me just jump right to it and explain what Enter Social Reality is all about. I'm gonna give you like a little story about myself and about my background, and then hopefully that will make you understand what Enter Social Reality is all about. So, I'm actually from Russia, and when I was 14 years old, I moved from Russia to the United States. Now, before I moved from Russia, I was a very outgoing kid. I was full of confidence, and I had a healthy social life. I was a little bit shy around girls, but you know, at 14, I was just starting to like girls, you know, and to like hang out with girls a little bit. So I just getting the ball rolling in in that aspect of my life. But I've always had friends. I've always, you know, made new friends easily, and my social life was really awesome, and I was a happy person. It all changed when I came to the United States because I didn't know any English, and I couldn't make any new friends. The only friend I had was my brother, whom I used to live with, and he was the only person that I've talked, and we talked in Russian, of course, and we sort of tried to stay away from Americans, and it took us a while to learn English and adapt to the new environment. Anyway, eventually I became very shy, and I developed what is called social anxiety disorder, and I just turned into a very different person than a person that I was when I was living in Russia. So I became this introverted person who was very anxious around other people, and I had a really hard time making friends. And this condition even escalated to the point where I was just afraid of people. I just couldn't go outside without feeling this intense anxiety around other people. So whenever I was in any kind of social situation, doesn't matter if I had to talk or not, whenever I was around other people, it made me extremely anxious. And I've lived like that since I came to America, which is 15 years. I'm 29 now. But, so, like, this kind of lifestyle that I was living was pretty much, I was suffering a lot. I was, you know, I was depressed, I was afraid to go outside, and whenever I went to like downtown to clubs, I always got drunk to the point of blacking out, because I thought that was normal. I thought that's how regular or normal people have fun. So yeah, I became like a weekend alcoholic, and that kind of life just, I couldn't ever make a connection with another person. So my social life basically sucked a lot, and I was feeling lonely, depressed, anxious, and I just hated life. Yet I just kind of still like struggled through it. And I eventually started to think, you know, because I've lived like that life for such a long time, I actually believed that I was living a sort of a normal life, and that's just how people live their life, you know, because that became my reality, and that's something that I've lived for such a long time, that I started believing that it was normal. So I've lived like that for many years, for 15 years, and recently, about maybe 4 months ago, I had this epiphany because I watched a video about, and there was a guy talking about the possibility of basically another reality and disattaching yourself from social conditioning. So I pretty much went from this like really anxious person who was afraid to go out and like be around other people, to this outgoing guy who just would. I have no problem striking out a conversation like with anybody random on the street at this point, and I've discovered that not only can I do that, I've also started like learning who I am, because before I didn't even know who I was and what I wanted from life. And like when I started living this, when I had this epiphany, I started living this I almost like discovered this new reality, and I was amazed at how fucking awesome that new reality was. Basically, I just started doing things that I've always wanted to do, like coming up to a girl I like and saying hello, like some random girl on the street or any place that I go to. And I also started trying new things, like I started taking dancing lessons, and I started like meeting people, and I started going to college and taking some acting classes, and I started like meeting people over there, and I started like making these connections with people. And I've also, not only that, but I like started discovering who I truly am and what I wanted from life. I started discovering my true personality and how like I wanted to behave in a social situations without giving a damn what other people think about me. So it's like I was released from this cage of social conditioning and a cage of like that I've created over so many years, like this thick wall of repressed feelings and repressed personality. And all of a sudden I started to come out, and I started like experiencing life in a completely different way. So at that point I realized, holy crap, I've been living my life in this kind of state before, and I thought it was normal, even though like now that I think about it, holy shit, like I don't even know how I lived so many years in that kind of state. And looking back now to just 4 months ago, I'm basically a completely different person. And there are things that I've done, like I watched that video, but not only that, I've combined different sources from all kinds of places, and I've put it all together, and I started like doing these exercises every day in order to finally learn social skills or communication skills, overcome social anxiety. And I just like created this workout for me to go forward and keep increasing the bar higher and higher every day. And there are different kinds of sources and like information. There's great information online, and the exercises which you can learn from to discover this, to learn social skills and finally have a healthy social life. So if you're someone who is shy, who has social anxiety, or you're just someone who is shy around women, or you just feel lonely, like you feel like you can't make friends, or maybe you're struggling at work, and you feel like saying something, but you just feel like people are sort of ignoring you and not listening to you. And maybe you just want to maybe you're in a new city and you want to build a social circle, but you don't really know how to go about doing that. So basically, if you feel like your relationships or dating could use improvement, if you feel like you want to acquire this if you want to have good friends, if you want to build your social circle, if you want to discover who you truly are, this is what this anti-social reality is all about. And this is like what I'm going to be video blogging about and writing on my blog, which is also entersocialreality.com. So, with that said, let me just run through some of the things that I'll be talking about, and so that hopefully you can get the idea of what this is all about in detail. So I'm going to be talking about some of the exercise and action steps to basically level up socially. So for example, if your social level is at 0, so you basically like me, like I used to be when I was really afraid of people and had social anxiety. You may start with level 0, and then I'll be giving you like step-by-step exercises that you can do to level up to the next level. And those exercises are not going to be something like, okay, go talk to 10 random people per day. No, come on, nobody can like do that right away. But there'll be some subtle exercise that will basically move you to the next level, so that it's easier to do tougher things as you level up socially. So some of the exercises could be something like reading a book out loud, or it could be something like working on your diaphragmatic breathing, working on your voice, and just basically just learning how to speak better just at home, you know, recording your voice, you know, like analyzing how your voice sounds, or just talking in front of the mirror. So all those basic you know, level 0 exercise that you can do to improve your social skills, that you can do by yourself at home without anyone around you, you know. So these are the kinds of, and eventually I'll be talking about how to increase and level up socially, and finally you'll be able to discover and enter social reality, just like I discovered it for myself. And you will be, trust me, you'll be amazed at how awesome this new reality is. Because like, I never thought that this happy life could be possible for me. And now I realized that yes, it's very possible, even for somebody who's struggling with extreme case of social anxiety. I mean, yeah, anybody can learn better social skills. It's just like learning to play a musical instrument. First, you're like starting out, you're gonna be awkward, you're gonna sound weird, maybe, you know, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes. But that's how any learning process, that's how you learn, you know. Eventually, you're gonna become better at it as you practice. The keyword here is consistency and practice. So yeah, let me just tell you, okay, this is possible, and that's what I hope to teach you guys to do. And I hope to help some people out there who are struggling with lack of social skills. Okay, that was an introduction, and I'll see you guys in the next video blog.